أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. Respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We were discussing the laws of doubts, and obviously we were talking about wudu, and we were discussing we were talking about a person who frequently doubts regarding his acts of worship, which is known as this person is known as kathiru shak. Alright, a person who frequently doubts. We said in the previous session that if there is someone who doubts frequently while performing the wudu, that means while washing his face or washing his arms or wiping his head or wiping the 2 feet, he continuously keeps on doubting, right? Now this person will not pay any attention to his doubts. Now if there are certain doubts that are proper, right, but there are a few people, as I had said, as was the example given in the previous lesson as well, in the previous session, that that there are certain people who keep on performing wudu for 10-15 minutes, and when you see them, they just keep on washing their face and their arms. They keep on rubbing their left hand on the right one and the right hand on the left one. So this is something that is not normal, right? This condition is known as kathiru shak, right? So this person will not pay attention to his doubts. But if there is someone who is not such kind of a person, but there are certain doubts that are proper, and one must pay attention to a few doubts. Like what? Now if someone has taken wudu, right? Someone is in the state of wudu, and now he is doubting whether the wudu that he took, did it become void or not? Did it get invalidated or not? This is the question. He took the wudu, he did it, right? And now he is doubting with regards to a hadath, with regards to something that invalidates a wudu. Now here, this person, this doubt, how are we going to be clearing it off? In this condition, what are we going to say? We'll say that this person is in the state of wudu. That means he need not take any wudu, and he will be regarded as in the state of purity, in a state of tahara. That means his wudu will be valid. Alright? So if someone doubts whether his wudu has become void or not, he must treat as it is still being valid. Alright? This is how he's going to be treating. Okay. But here comes an important mas'ala, and that mas'ala is regarding istibra. Istibra is the 9 acts, alright, that one must perform after urinating, alright, that will be discussed. And if someone, after he uses the toilet, after urinating, he has not performed istibra, and without perform, because istibra is something that is mustahab, alright, it's something that's mustahab. So if someone after urinating, he did not perform istibra, and then he took wudu, he did his wudu, in this situation, after performing wudu, now some fluid, it came out of the urinatory organ, alright. Now if this fluid, after the discharge of this fluid, whether he is doubting whether it's urine or not, this fluid will be treated as urine. I hope the mas'ala is clear. So the mas'ala says that if the person has not performed istibra and a certain fluid is discharged from his body, this fluid will be treated as urine. Alright, this will be treated as urine, and obviously if it touches the parts of one's body, it will make it najis. Similarly, it will also make the trouser or the clothes that are in contact with this fluid, they will also become najis, right? So this is something, this is regarding something who, someone who has not done istibra, right? And similarly, if a person doubts whether he has performed wudu or not. Now the first person, the first mas'ala that we mentioned, it was regarding someone who was doubting after performing wudu. Now after performing wudu, someone is doubting whether I used the lavatory, whether I used the toilet, or whether I slept, whether I did something that invalidates the wudu. Did I do something? He's doubting. But he is certain that he took wudu. In this condition, what did we say? We said that the wudu is valid. It's absolutely all right. But now the second mas'ala that we discussed right now, here the person is doubting the wudu itself. He's doubting whether he took wudu or not. All right? So this is something that he is doubting. In this condition, we will say that he will treat himself as if he has not taken any wudu, and he will go and take wudu again. Again meaning, that means he will go and take wudu. All right? He says that he must deem that he has not, and he must perform wudu. In this situation, the person should perform wudu. Okay. Now, another important mas'ala. Now we discussed two stages. We discussed two circumstances. The first one, when the person was certain that he has taken wudu, but he was not certain regarding something that invalidates wudu has occurred or not. Now, in the second scenario, what did we discuss? We discussed that a person is doubting that he took wudu itself. He is doubting this condition, that did I take wudu? He's not doubting that did I do something that invalidates wudu. No, he is doubting something that he's doubting actually that means the taking of wudu. Did he do wudu or not? If he is doubting in such a way, what did we say? We said that he must take wudu, and he has, as if he has no wudu. All right. Now the third scenario we will be discussing, that in a state where a person is certain that he took wudu. On the other hand, he is certain that he did something that invalidates wudu. Now, take the example of someone who did wudu, and the same person, he used the toilet as well. Okay. Now, but the confusion is, the doubt is that did he use the toilet first or did he do the wudu first? If he used the toilet first and then took wudu, then his wudu is all right. If he did the wudu first and then used the toilet, then his wudu will be invalidated. Now here the person, what is he doubting? He is doubting that I took wudu and I used the toilet, but I don't know which one was before and which one was later. All right? He is doubting whether I did the wudu first or I used the toilet first. If I did wudu first, then it's batil. It's obviously it will be batil after using the toilet. If I use the toilet first, then obviously my wudu is all right. Why? Because I used the toilet first and then I took wudu. In this scenario, he says, all right, in this event, he says that he has doubt before the prayers. All right, he must perform wudu for those prayers if he is doubting before the prayers. All right. And if he has this doubt during the prayers, all right, in this condition also he must break his prayers and perform wudu. And if the doubt is after the prayers, if this doubt, it comes after the prayers that he has performed, they will be all right, but he needs to take another wudu for the subsequent prayers. This is something really important. Right? Now I want to discuss this mas'ala again, but we do not have enough time. Anyways, let's discuss it once again. Here the mas'ala says that someone, he is certain that he took wudu, and also he is certain that he used the toilet, but he does not know which one was first. Did he use the toilet first or he took wudu first? Right? Now in this condition, what does Ayatollah Sistani say? He says that if this doubt comes into his mind before performing the prayers, he must take wudu. Before performing any prayers, I'm doubting this way, that did I do the wudu first or did I use the toilet first? I must take the wudu again. Okay. And if this comes, if this doubt, it comes while performing the prayers, here the person should also break the prayers and take his wudu again. But if the doubt, it comes into my mind after when I finish my prayers, after when I finish saying my prayers, in this condition my prayers are valid, they are absolutely all right, but this will not make the other prayers, this will not make me fit to enter the other prayers, but I need to perform wudu for the other prayers that I will be praying, right? So here, this is the mas'ala regarding this, regarding this situation, regarding this third scenario. Okay. Now, if a person, another doubtful question, that means a question that is regarding the masail, regarding the ruling of doubts. He says, if a person doubts after prayers whether he had performed wudu or not, in this condition his prayers, they are valid, but he needs to perform wudu for the subsequent prayers. Alright, this is something that this is not related to the third scenario that we discussed just before 30 seconds, 1 minute. No, this is regarding something else. This is a general mas'ala, that if a person is doubting after when he finishes prayers, he is doubting that did he perform the wudu, did he took wudu or not, did he do it, did he do wudu or not. In this condition, the prayers that he performed, they are valid, they are all right, he need not perform them again. Alright, but he needs to take wudu for the subsequent prayers. That means that wudu, that being those prayers valid, will not be sufficient to make this person fit to enter the other prayers, but he needs to take wudu for the other prayers that he will be praying. Okay. So this is also another mas'ala. And the last mas'ala regarding this, regarding the doubts, is that if a person during prayers, that means he's doubting during the prayers that whether or not he had wudu or not, did he perform wudu or not. While I'm praying, I'm just asking myself, I'm questioning, I'm doubting that did I perform wudu or not. In this condition, or based on obligatory precaution, what one must do, he must perform wudu and say his prayers again. He must perform the wudu and must say his prayers again. Okay. Now this was all the rules regarding wudu, right? Most of them, and the most important of them, they were these laws that we discussed right now. Okay. Now we're going to be discussing those things for which it's obligatory on us to take wudu. While I'm talking, while I'm discussing something, or while I'm going above the pulpit to say a majlis, for example, or while I enter into a mosque, or any other act when I do, is it obligatory on me to take wudu? What are the conditions, what are the situations in which it's obligatory on a person to perform the wudu? He says there are 6 conditions, there are 6 places. Wudu it becomes obligatory for 6 things, alright? It's obligatory to perform wudu for 6 things. Okay. The first one is for prayers, for all kinds of prayers. Whether it be obligatory prayers, whether it be recommended. It be obligatory or recommended, one must perform wudu for all his prayers. Alright? So when I want to say my morning prayers or the noon prayers or whatever, the afternoon prayers, Maghrib, Isha, Dhuhr, Asr, Fajr, or when I want to say the night prayers, which is Namaz-e-Shab, Salat-e-Layl, or any other prayer, the prayers that are prayed in the holy month of Ramadan. So all these prayers, it's obligatory for a person to take wudu, except one. except one prayer, which is Salatil Mayyit, the prayers that are performed on a Mayyit, alright, on a dead body, after when it's after giving it the ghusl and the shroud, covering it with the shroud, that is the kafan, alright, it's obligatory to say prayers on the Mayyit. It's obligatory to say namaz, to say salat on that Mayyit. This is known as Salatil Mayyit. Now for this prayers, it's not obligatory on a person to take wudu. Even if you're not in a state of wudu, you're not in a state of tahara, even in that situation, it's permissible for you to stand and say the prayers for that person, for that dead person, right? So wudu is obligatory for all kinds of prayers except one, which is Salatil Mayyit. So this is the first thing out of those six. Out of those six things for which we need to perform wudu, this is the first one. Okay. The second one is when a person wants to say a tashahhud or a sujood or a sajda that he has forgotten. Now for example, a person was praying he was saying his prayers, alright, and while saying these prayers, he forgot to do one of the sajdas. Alright, one needs to prostrate 2 times in every rak'at, right? After when he sits, he should go on the floor, put his head on the ground, on the earth, and would say Subhana Rabbiyal A'la wa bihamdih twice, right? Then come up and then we'll say it again. So one must perform the sajda twice, right? If someone forgets one of them and remembers after the prayers, after saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, here he comes to remember that I did not say my second sajda in, for example, in my second rak'ah. Now here what's obligatory on this person? It's obligatory on this person to say the sajda after completing the prayers. Now this sajda, it requires wudu. The person should be in the state of tahara to say this wudu, to say this sajda. I hope the mas'ala is clear. This is the second thing. For a sajda or a tashahhud, similarly if a person forgets tashahhud that have been forgotten, alright, if between them and the prayers one has not done something that invalidates the wudu, one has done something that invalidates the wudu, alright. So I hope the mas'ala is clear. After finishing one's morning prayers, someone used the toilet and then came back without taking wudu, and he's finished with the morning prayers. He went to the toilet and then he came back, and what did he say? He said he was certain that he did not perform the second sajda in the second rakat. So here it's obligatory on him to take wudu, to do wudu again, and will perform the second sajda. Alright. So here it's obligatory on this person to perform these forgotten acts. It's obligatory to take wudu. So this is the second point. Now within brackets, we must also say that as far as sajdatul sahv is concerned, sajda is sahv, this is the better way to say it. Sajda is sahv because there are 2 sajdas, 2 prostrations that are done to correct something. Now this will also be discussed in the book of prayers. When we discuss the laws and the rulings regarding the prayers, we will be discussing what are sajdatul sahv, and obviously if you want to know them, you can refer to certain books or websites or ask other ulama. Obviously we won't be having this much time to go into brackets for this long. Anyways, so if someone wants to perform sajdatul sahv, sajda is sahv, it's not obligatory on the person to take wudu. It's not obligatory for him to be in the state of tahara to say sajdatul sahv. Alright, that's what he says, that it's not obligatory, however, to perform wudu for the 2 prostrations for any kind of mistake that a person makes. Alright, for example, he's forgotten the tashahhud, or he stood up in a place where he should not have stood up, right, while praying. This will be discussed. These laws are mentioned in the laws of prayers. Okay. Now similarly, the third thing is for which it's obligatory on a person to take wudu is while doing the tawaf around the Kaaba, whether it be Hajj or it be Umrah. Whether it be Hajj or for Umrah, while performing the tawaf, it's obligatory on the person to take wudu, to be in the state of tahara. Alright? While circumambulating around the Kaaba. So this is the third point. Okay. Now the other 3 we'll be discussing them in the next part, but before finishing we must also discuss a few laws regarding the holy month of Ramadan. Okay, so we were discussing about the things that invalidate the fast, right? Now one of such thing that invalidate the fast are one of such thing is that, on an obligatory precaution of course, that if someone causes thick dust to reach his throat, if someone causes thick dust to reach one's throat, this will also make the fast, it will make it void, it will invalidate the fast. All right, someone causes thick dust to reach one's throat, this will make the fast void. This is unlawful for a person to do it. Okay, so whether the dust is of something that is lawful, that means whether it be flour, okay, flour that is taken from wheat, or it be mud. Mud is something that's unlawful to eat, all right, except Turbat al-Husayn alayhi salam, Turbat al-Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam, that is only for the healing purpose, that can be used in a small amount. But mud is, it's not permissible to eat it. So even if it be something permissible like flour, or it be something unlawful like mud, one must not make the thick dust enter into one's throat. Okay, now if someone forgets that he is fasting and does not take care, and then he does something similar, reaches his throat, but it was not intentional. Okay, in this condition his fast will be all right, his fast will not be invalidated. Okay, if someone forgets and then unintentionally someone makes a bit of such kind of dust enter into his throat, this will not invalidate the fast. The same thing we discussed while we were discussing eating and drinking, right? That if someone has forgotten that he is fasting, this happens normally in the earlier days of the holy month of Ramadan, for those people who do not fast the month of Rajab and Sha'ban, because this is something new for them. They're doing something new after 11 months, right? So sometimes they forget that they are fasting. So what do? They eat something or they drink something by mistake. This is unintentional, and obviously, as we said, that this will not invalidate one's fast. Similarly, we're saying that if someone forgets that he's fasting and he does not take due care, or if dust or something similar reaches his throat involuntarily, that means out of mistake, in this condition his fast does not become invalid, it will not be invalidated. Okay, and similarly here also, Ayatollah Sistani mentions the mas'ala which is asked a lot regarding immersing one's complete head into water. Is it permissible for us to immerse our head into water or not? Is it permissible? Will it invalidate the fast? Will it invalidate our sawm or not? Here he says immersing the entire head in water does not invalidate one's fast, although it's not recommended to do it. It's makruh. It's makruh for a person to immerse one's complete head into water. Although it's makruh, but it will not invalidate the fast. Okay. Now, and the same is the case, here this is the reason. Now one might ask that why is smoking not permissible? All right, this is probably the last thing we're discussing regarding today's discussion, that why is smoking also not permissible while a person is fasting, as far as the view of Ayatollah Sistani is concerned. The same is the thing with smoking, and he mentions it within these laws. He mentions this, that smoking is also not permissible. If someone smokes while he's fasting, this will also invalidate one's fast, because it might not be considered as eating something or drinking something. As I said in the first discussion, that there are a few things, and these are the only things that invalidate fast, right? Smoking was not one of them. Why? Because smoking is mentioned under this point, making thick dust or something, a thick kind of smoke to enter one's throat. This invalidates the fast. Here he mentions regarding smoking and the use of tobacco. The use of tobacco that is used for smoking. Okay. So this is also another thing that invalidates one's fast. So if someone, let's conclude. So if someone makes thick dust enter into one's throat, this will invalidate the fast. This was all regarding today's discussion. Inshallah, we're going to be discussing some other laws in the next one. هذا وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين.